Good evening. It's great to be back here. Today is Tuesday, September 13, on our 90th edition in the Issues Room. My name is Volcano Shelton, coming your way from Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. What a better way to start another presentation here this first fresh week, I would say. And hopefully, we will be broadcasting Friday. If not, I will let you know because we might be doing some technical issues. But in the meantime, we want to welcome you, our viewers, wherever you are. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Please let us know you're there. Tonight conversation will feature the People's Liberation Party, the PLP. We have its Secretary General already in studios from Monrovia, Liberia, the Honorable Daniel Gayu, and the PLP USA chapter chairperson, Miss Oretha Anderson. She'll also be here, or she's backstage in studios. We don't know about the chairman yet of the PLP Monrovia, Liberia. Hopefully, we might get him in. But in the meantime, we have those two officials of the party. Uh, just before we roll, let me just bring in Moses Sandy. He's already top notch, seemed to be in West Point, uh, missing the Ducal Palace Hotel, where his journey with LBS started after he cross carpet from the Minister of Information. Good evening.
Yeah.
Welcome, Moses.
Good evening, Volcano. You took me by years, man. Those days when we used to trek to Duco, where ELBC was then located. Well, it's good to be back in the issues room. Whenever we come here, we come with joy. We come with commitment to serve. And this time we have come to tell the stories as they are. Thank you for the opportunity.
Yes, so quickly we'll run to trending news before we begin the conversation here with the PLP folks. As part of trending news, what do you have on your end?
Well, this week there have been several stories emanating from Monrovia, Liberia. But one really stood out to me, and that's what I really want to talk about tonight. It has to do with the senior senator of Montserrat County, Senator Sir Joseph. Anyone will follow developments in Liberia. Yesterday, Senator Joseph donated to the leadership of Montserrat County, headed by the superintendent, 10 used buses that he was able to secure from the United States. According to the senator, he actually secured 20 buses, but he delivered the first 10 to the superintendent. And he said the cost of transportation, registration, taxes, and all of that, he spent $256,000, to have the buses delivered. And the purpose of the donation is, according to him, is to create jobs, opportunity for jobs for people in Montserrat County. And he said he also did that with the sole purpose of reducing the cost of transportation in Monrovia and its surrounding areas. According to the senator, commuting from Garnersville to central Monrovia, it cost uh, 80,000 Liberian dollars. And I mean,
What do you
what
mean,
is that?
80,000?
It's $80, 80 Liberian dollars commuting from Garnersville to central Monrovia. So his recommendation to the county leadership was that hey, they're going to do that for 50 Liberian dollars, which is very, very affordable for the poor. And he told the county leadership that he wanted the buses commuting between Monrovia, Kakata, and some of the buses will also be commuting as far as Sierra Leone at affordable prices or affordable fares. for the poor. Now, Volcano, what stood out to me is that the donation is good, it's commendable. Let me thank you to the senator for that. But Volcano,
But stop there.
I
Stop there.
see,
Why,
yes.
why are you telling him thank you when it's profiting? He didn't give it and send
Well,
everybody rice free. So what are you saying you
well,
telling him thank you for? A
well, this
businessman.
is, yeah, no, this is why he said funds generated from
Okay.
the for the use of those buses or from the transportation business, which will be led by the county, the money will be used to undertake projects and underwrite other, for the management of the local government in the county, creating jobs. That's also commendable. Okay, but
Mhm.
the concern I have was that I think that's a clear way or a smart way of winning support for his re-election. And another thing that stood out to me, Volcano, is that in Liberia, we have the Monrovia Transit Authority, which is managed by the Liberian government. And the authority, the MTA, the cost of transportation fare, I assume, is much cheaper as compared to other commercial, transport buses and others. So to have someone in the Senate who worked for the same government also undercutting or undermining the work of the MTA, I think that's just irreprehensible. It's very unfortunate. Even though his intent is good, but he's indirectly undermining the work of the MTA. And as a lawmaker, his work is to complement the effort of government. Lawmakers have three cardinal responsibilities. One, as a senator, is making laws. Two, representation. Three, oversight, ensuring that institutions of government that have statutory responsibilities, those responsibilities are executed to the letter. You can't have a lawmaker running a transportation system in the country at the disadvantage of the MTA. That defeats the purpose of the
Okay.
MTA. And another thing too, Volcano, besides this guy getting involved with local transportation, guess what? This man operate three schools in Liberia. I listened to him on Spoon TV. He said he took a loan of $300,000 from one of the local banks in Liberia. He took a loan of $300,000 at the APR or the interest rate of 14%. So $300,000 at the APR of 14%. When you do the math, Volcano, it comes to $42,000, for the term of the loan. On an annual basis, as I listen to him, he says in interest alone or the monthly payment is almost $7,000 to $8,000. So now the question is, where is he getting all this money from?
All right.
This
So
man, as a lawmaker, Volcano, he earns $8,000 monthly, according to himself.
okay.
He portrayed himself as a millionaire. I know this is lengthy, just give me the opportunity. But he portrayed himself as a millionaire. He's throwing money all. He's behaving like, the former Minister of State for
Oh,
Presidential
but
Affairs,
listen,
Nathaniel
Moses, the man,
McGill.
the man may be on the sanction list too. Why you get invested for
So
the
let
man?
me let me let me give you the opportunity.
Okay,
Yeah,
quick, man. So since you've
yeah,
already exhausted the time, I wouldn't want to
yeah,
probably dwell on anything further because we have our guest and it's important considering uh,
yeah,
the Secretary General in Liberia and the inconsistency of electricity and technology. We don't want to keep dragging it. But quickly, I'd like to say that it's unfortunate that all of these guys are doing what they're doing in the name of philanthropic uh, behavior, but
Hmm.
it's for the political quest. It's for the
Absolutely.
political perpetuity. He
Yeah.
wants to remain senator for life.
Hmm.
Now, Henry Costa, you say you want to go ahead against this guy, you got to come from another angle. You got to come vibrant. You got to
Of
come,
course.
to take him out, because the people who are gullible see him as someone who's giving back, and they will want to continue in that trend. Lastly, for trending news, just on a minute, Serena Seaforth sent his letter of resignation as the Solicitor General of the Republic to President Weah. I read through this stuff and I got to a point where I stopped. A resignation letter. If he Seaforth claims to be educated, a resignation letter
A
should be
letter.
a
Yeah.
paragraph of three
Hmm.
to four sentences.
And that's it.
Mr. President, I want to thank you for the opportunity of allowing me to serve your government and the people of Liberia. Regarding the recent sanction and what has happened in the country, I'm tendering my resignation
Destination.
and allow the due process to take its course. Finish. Don't go nowhere. But you come, you're talking about Musa Dean, Musa Dean, and his cronies. They concocted all this. They put your name on the sanction list. The people don't know you corrupt, right? Okay. They did this one. They did so. Then you write off. Just we are load at somebody who can read 2 pages.
My
Eh?
man, my man, don't put
Before
our
you
president
no, no,
down
no,
like that,
no,
man.
no. What I'm saying in essence is that the president doesn't have the time to read a
Yeah.
resignation letter that is of a pamphlet or a dissertation. A resignation letter just gave you what it should be. Thank the
Yeah.
person, go to the crust of why you're resigning,
Hmm.
and close your letter.
Yeah.
But the man that talking about one man, the man he man I when I speaking to him, when I on speaking term, sometimes they will speak sometimes all kinds of stuff. So, you know, Serena, if you need resignation letter drafting, come to me, I'll help you. Yeah. But the
Yeah.
other one you did is too much.
But man,
All right.
the issue room will send a mail sample
Yeah.
letter of
Yeah,
resignation.
too much. And I don't know who advised you to send that stuff. I can hear you say, Judge, we already know what's going on. The man know what's going on. You just want to show
Yeah.
you want to give your
Yeah.
excuse. All right,
Hmm.
so Moses, listen, the PLP, People Liberations Party, has been around the issues room for a little bit. And this weekend they have to be in the Midwest. They should have gone uh, week before last,
Yeah.
the Labor weekend, but there were some technical issues that led to the postponement. And so they are expected in the Midwest this weekend, between Friday and Sunday. They're having two town halls. One is in Minneapolis, but precisely the Brooklyn Park area, and the other is in Fargo, North Dakota. His vision and standard bearer was here, and he's supposed to be on Focus on Liberia, right? Focus on Liberia
Yeah, that's what I'm
tomorrow.
told. Yeah,
Okay,
I'm told.
it's
Yeah.
expected that he will be appearing on Focus on Liberia. However, we thought to give a balance to the equation tonight. The last time we had the USA people here, so as part of bringing a balance, we decided to reach out to the leadership, national and international. The leadership, national and international, meaning the overall party chairman, Tapo Doe, and its Secretary General, Mr. Daniel Gayu. The unfortunate situation right now is that Mr. Doe is not on, but Mr. Gayu is here. And the chairperson here in the US, Madam Orita Anderson, is also here. So let me formally bring in the two. Let's start with the man from Liberia, the Secretary General, Mr. Gayu. I know that your lighting is not too uh, illuminated, but
My
I'm
man
sure the people can see you.
is
Uh,
understandable. The man is in Liberia, my man. It's
and and
understandable.
and Aretha, welcome. So both of you, Aretha, unmute yourself. And just 1 minute, 1 minute each. Just come in the issues room. Let's start with you, Mr. Gayu.
Thank you, gentlemen, for the invite tonight, and we hope that uh,
Yeah, man.
Liberian across the earth can understand some of the challenges we have here.
Yeah.
I lived very close to the presidency of Liberia, just about maybe 4 or 5 minutes, and we have inconsistent electricity right here in the Rehab community. but it's a huge challenge we have across the country. But how be it, these are the changes that we want to making sure that our citizens right across the country have consistency in electricity that will be affordable to them. So it is good that we leave it, and then we can look at this issue, how we can develop the infrastructure. So we want to say thank you this evening for allowing us to appear on your show to discuss key issues relative to the People's Liberation Party. Thank you.
Ms. Anderson?
Thank you for having me on your show tonight. It's a great pleasure being here. Uh, my name is Orita Anderson, and I'm the chair lady for the PLP USA chapter. Thanks
All
for
right.
having me tonight.
Can you get a babysitter or take that baby from in the background? Okay, we'll come back to you. But let's start this conversation quick with our man Daniel Gayu. Gayu, you've been in Liberia for a while. I remember when you were trying to go to Liberia, you even talked to me briefly that you wanted to start something in mental health. Are you still pursuing that, or is it still happening? Are you there, Gayu?
Mr. Gayu, I think he's muted.
No, he's not muted. He's frozen.
Oh my
He's frozen.
God.
Yeah,
Daniel, are you there?
he's frozen. Moses, I'm looking at him. He's frozen. Let me get back to Orita.
Okay, that
Hopefully,
Orita, yeah.
stabilize. Orita,
Yep.
could you just come to your right or go to your right a little bit?
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
All
Yeah.
right. So you are planning a weekend for the PLP to be in the Midwest. Uh, why didn't you go last week? The people want to know, or the week before that. What was happening?
Uh, we had some issue that came out so that we decided to change the date. Some things that came up beyond our control, so we decided to change the date.
Okay. So everything on course now for this weekend.
Everything is everything is on course. We'll be arriving in Minnesota on Friday. Uh, the USA chapter, most of us live around here in the Pennsylvania and Delaware area. So we're going to be arriving Friday evening, and maybe one or two person will be arriving Saturday morning, but we'll be there on Saturday for the program.
Okay. Quick, let me see if Daniel is back. It doesn't look like looks like he's still trying to get in. Um, okay. Daniel, can you hear me?
Okay,
Yeah,
why
I'm on the
he's
line.
trying
I'm
to
on the
come?
line. You
Come
guys
on,
hearing
Moses.
me?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, we hear you.
Are you good?
Are you guys hearing me?
Yes, you're
Yes,
good.
we do. We are hearing you.
Are you hearing me now?
He's
Okay, thank
frozen
you. All
again.
right, sure.
All right. So you're good now. All right. The question was, you went to Liberia to pursue so or to help in the mental health arena. Are you still doing that?
There are huge challenges here when it comes to service delivery in Liberia. The needs of are enormous here. The challenges are huge. Um, One of the problems that we have here is to how do we mobilize resources to have the programs running. Um, the government don't have the funding for mental health and substance abuse program. And even if you start tomorrow, we look at the sustainability of these programs. So we want to look at it from a different perspective. One, I think we need to focus on training people initially. And if we become successful in the training of manpower, then now we can look at the approaches we can use to focus on rehabilitation. But currently, even the international organizations themselves, they don't have the kind of funding to target rehabilitation in Liberia. So we are trying in our own little way to see what can we do on the lower scales, to have few people, stem a few of the folks from the street. We want to change the strategy to look at the female. Um, Most of the girls are now having babies around, and there's nobody to take care of the babies. And so it's a compound complex situations in Liberia as it comes to the healthcare system in Liberia. So we're
So
trying our little best to see.
how did you then move from mental health now to the PLP? How did
Uh,
you
one
get
of the
involved in PLP?
One of the things that drove me to the PLP is as of in order for us to have most of the problems in Liberia solved, we have to look at it from the political. Liberia is a politically driven country. Let me just put it that way. And I found, uh, a friend and brother who is a clinical psychologist, and he's seeking the presidency in the country. And I believe that my vision aligned with his. And so we're going to give mental health, a boost under the Cassell's leadership in Liberia. So this was one of the reasons that we're able to get into the political limit of the country to see how can we, politically advocate for mental health service in Liberia. So there's a reason why you found us in politics, because we found out that the vision bearer of the PLP is a professional clinician who will make mental health a key issue within his policy or platform.
Process.
Look, let me just piggyback on what you said. Dr. Cassell is a trained psychologist. You're also a mental health specialist. And you said there are significant challenges the government seems insensitive when addressing the issue of mental health in Liberia. Because I watched the Minister of Youth and Sports in a government working on designing program for these at-risk young people in the country they refer to as Zogos, and allocated $1 million for that. That just shows that the government lacks individuals who understand what the problem is. The government is insensitive because if you do the math, if you just hire 10 professional individual trained psychologists by Liberian standard, you pay them on the average $70,000 a year. That's $700,000 right there. So how do you maintain those facilities, the clinics, the medication? So the government seems ill prepared. Now, if Castle wins the presidency today, how do you how is it how does the PLP intend to address this problem? What are the concrete plans that you guys have in place for that?
One of the things we're going to look at clearly is how we can develop the necessary policies to address um, healthcare delivery in Liberia. It is not just mental health issue, but the healthcare delivery systems in Liberia it is challenged. If you went across Liberia, we just came from the county tour. We traveled in 8 different counties, remaining 7 counties to complete the 15 subdivision, or political subdivision of the country. And these challenges are all over the country. So we are going to develop the necessary policy to addressing these concerns. We're going to make budgetary allotment. The health sector is currently underfunded under the government. And then we're also going to look at training Liberians, professionals that will address the social services program. So we're going to look at it in from the policy perspective, and how can we mobilize the resources to address these concerns. They are very great in the absence of resources. Currently, as we speak, this government were only able to allocate about $50,000 for mental health and substance abuse in the national budget. So what can you do with $50,000? So we are going to look at it and consider it as a national or public health epidemic when Cassell takes over these countries. We're going to address it from a public health perspective and consider it as a real situations that need to be addressed, because we did a research in 2019 in Liberia. Currently, we estimate that about over 350,000 young men and women on drugs in Liberia. The West Africa Drug Policy Network, of which I'm the deputy focal person for Liberia, we looking at legislations. In fact, one of the law is to, how do we decriminalize addicts in the country instead of punishing them? So we have launched the support, do not punish, process in Liberia. So there's so many things we will be looking at. So Cassell, being a clinician, a trained psychologist by profession, we will be formulating a team of experts in all of the disciplines that we think are needed to help our country. These are generations that is dying. We have young men if we went around the coconut plantation area across the country. These are national security threats that we currently face in the country.
So, Mr. SG, quickly now, let's come to the real issue. You're here today to discuss the PLP. Give us a status report regarding the People's Liberation Party activities in Liberia. Where is the party? What is happening? And what's the plan? Because it's our understanding that in the U.S. This weekend, the PLP USA, accompanied by the standard bearer, will be touring some states in the Midwest. Tell us what's going on with the PLP in Liberia.
Firstly, let me thank our USHL leader, Ms. Richard Anderson, for the level of work they are doing in the United States to have the vision of the PLP spread across the United States. In Yesterday, we provided a fleet of motorcycles to counties across of Liberia to enhance their capacity to mobilize it, in every towns and villages and districts across Liberia. So the PRP is very active. All of our cells are operational. The 15 counties are operational. Let me just provide information that the PRP is the only political party in Liberia that has 21 physical and visible operational offices across the country, 21 offices. And these offices are functional. From our membership database, let me say this very clearly and for the record. Um, because I sit with the data people every day to make it sure where are we. We are now going for voter registration come December. Currently, as we speak, we have over 350,000 persons that have registered into the PLP. It is the fastest growing opposition party in the country. Um, we are in every community, in every part of Liberia. I just came from Greenville, Sano County. The momentum is huge in Grand Bassett is huge. I'll be going to Gantat. In fact, this today, as soon we can complete the interview, I'll be getting ready for Gantat to participate in the National Election Commission campaign finance workshop that have been organized. So there's the only political party that we find in Liberia that has mobilized sufficient resources. If you look at what Dr. Cassell has spent over the year, just within 2 years' time of the existence of the party, we have spent over 4 point some more $million according to our record, our asset and liability records that were submitted to the Election Commission. These are possible investments that we have made, and they will make it very, very much important that the Cassell is ready to govern Liberia, to liberate Liberia, because it understands the need of the Liberian people. We have the highest scholarship as an institution that haven't taken government yet. The Cassell has over 20,000 scholarships across Liberia. We are building market houses across Liberia. We are building a farm to market road across Liberia. We have the liberation transport. You just mentioned about Sir Joseph bringing in buses, which is true, and we commend him for that. We will have the liberation transport across Liberia that have the reduced prices across the country. And we want to commend Dr. Cassell for that. And we are putting in place mechanisms to doing more. Since his absence from Liberia, the party is moving very strong. We are visible. In fact, just yesterday, in fact, again, we had meetings with our county leaders who came to pick up the motorbikes. And so everything is moving very strongly. We are across the country. Another thing we want to put on here is the issue of corruption. We're going to have zero tolerance in the Cassell's government. And these issues, you've been listening to the PRP months ago from Wilmer Pay to other people. People who violate our constitutions are punished in accordance with our bylaws and regulations. So we're going to have zero tolerance. We're going to do a lot of stuff. In fact, just in River G, we just suspended the chairperson for River G for time indefinite to face the grievance and ethics committee due to misappropriation of motorboys that were assigned to him. So We are moving and we are in high gear, and that Kasel is ready to govern the Liberian people. The people are excited, they are awaiting him. In fact, today we had a meeting with the president of the Women Movement of Liberia, who is the Deputy Secretary General for Mobilization. She is very much excited to receive Dr. Cassell along with the team. We want to see several thousand persons as soon as the date and time is confirmed, which of course we are very certain that Dr. Cassell will hit the ground running. We are telling our people, which is true, that that is the vision that Dr. Cassell has for Liberia. He's coming on the ground and he will be running. He's not going to sit in the office. We started that before he even left from the country. He's not going to sit in the office. No, we're going to have him as we are doing now. So we are paving the way for him to get on the ground. And as he hits the ground, we start moving in, to our different cells. So we are mobilizing all the cells for the voter registration committee summit.
So why is the chairman of the party not here tonight?
Regrettably, the national chairman who have been here, but just a few days ago, I discussed with Moses that net time is not good for everybody. The national chairman being he has a project in Mashot, where he spent most of the time, the past few days, and being very exhausted, and for him to be all this time, which is late on our side here,
I
it's very
agree.
unfortunate. However,
Agree. Okay.
yeah, we're going to find
So
a time for
other
him to appear
engagements.
in
Okay.
subsequent.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yes,
because I know that if the folks will be asking that question, and I want to just get it out of the way. But
he's
Mr. Gayu,
he's an accessible person.
yeah. So Mr. Gayu, um, you talked about the party's vibrancy on the grounds. Um, if you were to measure the ANC, the PLP, the CDC, uh,
The UP.
the UP, the LPP as the Liberia People's Party with Teron Gonglo, where do you put yourself as the PLP on the grounds?
Uh, let's firstly look at the historical background of the parties you just named. You talk about the
And I'm talking in
CDC being
terms of
existence
momentum
for
here, Mr. Gayu. I'm
years.
talking in terms of momentum.
Where are you right
In terms of
now?
momentum, I think the PFP momentum is high. One of the things that we have engaged in is to change the strategy. And what is the strategy? We were spending a lot of time at the headquarters. Now we have deployed our men across the country in the different districts. We have 73 electoral districts in the country. Uh, and so our people are now present in the districts, and this is why we are supplying logistics to enhance that capacity. So our momentum is building up, is high. We have practical partisans that are coming over to the PLP. So we don't just want to get people at the headquarters dancing and doing that. We are a community-based political party, so we are in the community as we speak.
What's your membership count now as the Secretary
As I,
General?
Yeah, as I said, I'm speaking from the data center.
350,000, right?
350,000 persons have signed up to the PLP as we speak, and that registration is continuing.
Okay. So let's look at the relationship now between PLP USA and PLP Liberia. Madam Chair Lady, how would you describe that? You mute, Orito.
Sorry.
Yeah.
We have a good relationship with the leadership in Liberia.
Hmm.
Whatever we're doing here, they are informed of what we're doing here, and they are very supportive. It's the same as we here whatever whatever they are doing in Liberia, they let us know, and we are informed of what they're doing. So we have a good working relationship. We
Okay.
talk to them on a daily basis.
So the trip to the Midwest, you want to talk a bit about that? What's your plan? What are some of the things that you guys will be doing? I know they're going to be a town hall, but what are some of the activities besides the town hall?
Well,
We
we're going to be in Minnesota, hopefully by the grace of God, Friday night.
Yeah.
Uh, Saturday morning, the Standard Bureau will be meeting some Liberians and stakeholders, some of the organizations in Minnesota. He's going to be meeting with them, and then he's going to be having a interview with one of the stations in Minnesota. And after that, he will go home, take a rest, and then maybe he will interact with people who come and see him at the hotel, because that's what he wants to be able to interact with people. And then after that, he will get ready. And then we'll head to the town hall. The town hall will be starting at 5 o'clock at the OLM office on Brooklyn Boulevard. And then after that, we're going to be heading to um, Fargo. So we're going to be leaving at night. It depends on what time we're going to be interacting with the people at the town hall. And after the town hall, how long it would take for him to get, to talk to people. And then after that would be, if it's late, we're spending that in Minnesota, and then we leave early in the morning to Fargo. If we leave early from the town hall, then we'll be leaving that night to Fargo on Saturday night for the town hall. Sunday at 4 o'clock.
All right,
And
let me
what
come in
method?
quick.
Okay, go ahead, Volcano. Go
Yeah,
ahead.
yeah, yeah. Let me come back to Liberia because I think we've covered the town hall in part, but I think having Daniel Gay here for the first time tonight, we want to really, bring to life the PLP. When you look at the situation with Dr. Cassell and the legal issue he has right now, what is the situation like in Liberia with the partisans, and what are the chatted? Do you see this situation as a hindrance to Cassell for 2023, Mr. Secretary General?
You know, PLP was founded on the basis of, I would consider it on the religious basis. We had a faith
Fit
for
based.
organization, we had a faith-based organization. We believe that there is nothing that is too hard for God.
Okay.
As a leader, there are challenges that you're going to encounter. And God wants for there to be a testimony for the POP, especially his vision bearer. And this situation here came about. It's a challenge. And I think it has strengthened Dr. Cassell to the point that he is ready to lead Liberia in the positive direction. The parties in Liberia here, yes, they're missing a lot, and they are very confident that he's coming. We have regular meetings that are Cassell hosts regular video meeting with the partisans across Liberia. The momentum is high. We are not deterred of the situation. No, we are confident. We are upbeat that we are going to triumph over the situation here. God's waiting very soon that Cassell is going to be in Liberia. And so we are optimistic. We are working across the country. Our county chairperson, our auxiliaries are motivated. And I think that we are positive enough in what we are doing here and waiting for our vision bearer to return to Liberia. While he comes, we are working.
So quickly before Moses comes in, there has been another, story going around that people are sharing Dr. Cassell's properties in Liberia because he's not coming back. The
Uh,
bosses were hearing that they're changing the colors. The party, it's just in a disarray. Mr. Secretary
that
General, can
there
you
are things
just clear
that
the air? Can you clear the air here tonight for our
there are
viewers
things
and our listeners?
there are things I can speak to. When it comes to the party, I can speak to that. Remember that the Cassell, as an individual, he also an entrepreneur. Uh,
Okay.
he has series of businesses that people are presiding over and don't have anything to do with those businesses. But when it comes to the party issue, I can speak directly to the party issue. Uh, I don't think any property of the party have been sold. In fact, just about last week, I was able to collect all the asset listing from the 21 head offices of our party, and I have those information in my possession. The only place we have a little challenge is in River G, where 8 of the 20 somewhat chairs, plastic chairs, were stolen from the office. That's the only issue we have there. And one of the motorbike was sold by the gentleman who claimed that he was sent from the national headquarters, and that was the reason for which we suspended the county chairperson and he's currently undergoing investigation.
Okay. So, Mr. SG, I heard you say earlier that soon Dr. Cassell will be in Liberia. Soon, Doctor. How do you operationalize soon for us. Anyone
You
watching you
know,
tonight may want to know how early will Dr. Cassell be in Liberia. Do you know when he's going to be in
you
Liberia?
know, you know, Moses, Jesus asked his disciples one by one, and he said, "How well do you know me?" And those disciples gave different perspective on how they knew Jesus. I have known Dr. Cassell for over 18 years. He's a good man. He's somebody that I believe in. He's somebody that I trust. He's somebody that I know that he's prepared for the new dawn in Liberia. I'm very confident that Dr. Cassell will be in Liberia very soon. When that time comes, we're going to provide the necessary information to the general public because we want his return to be a tsunami in Liberia. We're going to let you know as journalists. We are working on the details, and very soon you will be informed.
So,
If you're
Madam
just joining us,
Cheerleader, what will you
Moses,
say?
Moses,
Yeah.
Moses. Oh,
Hmm.
I was going to intermission. All right, go ahead.
Okay. Yeah, Madam Cheerleader, what will you say about that? How soon will your standard bearer be in Liberia?
Uh, we are hopeful he's going to be in Liberia soon. As you know, in this country, he could go. He could decide to go to Liberia today.
Okay.
But when you have legal issues going on, you want to be able to have a better understanding. You don't
Hmm.
want to leave before uh, you disrespect the process. But
Okay.
we're being hopeful. With God being above, we are counting our days, our minutes, our months. We hope that it's not more than 2, 3 months because we know there's a lot of job in Liberia that he has to go to do.
Okay.
He being in the country doing the work of the Liberian people is way better than him being away. When you're home, you can do more because you're looking at the actual things that are going on in the country that you can fix, that you can work towards compared to being out. So we are very hopeful. We praying to God, depending on God to be able to make it sooner than later because we have limited time to the elections, and we're hoping that he will be there to be able to do the work of the Liberian people.
Yeah, go
Thank
ahead,
you. If you're
Volcano.
just joining us, this is the Issues Room 90th edition. We're here in studios in Philadelphia and Delaware, respectively. Tonight we have Mr. Daniel Gayu. He's the PLP Secretary General. The PLP is the People's Liberation Party in Liberia, and his chairperson here in the U.S., Aretha Anderson, in studios with us. We're discussing the PLP events in Liberia and here in the U.S. Um, our broadcast is on Tuesdays and Fridays, 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time and 11 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, rather 11 p.m. GMT, which is Liberia. You can catch us on Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, LinkedIn, and our Issues Room page. I'm Volcano, Shelton, and Moses Sandy. Mr. Gayu, I wanted to come back to you. Uh, Recently, the chairman of the PLP had to step forth regarding some kind of merger that was in the works in Liberia, and it came across as though the PLP had kind of collaborated with the ANC slash CPP. You want to give us any kind of clarification on that because that took a little wildfire that required the chairman to come in and make some clarification. Can you tell us that story, sir?
Well, let me be emphatically clear on this medium that the PRP is open to collaboration.
Okay.
We are open to collaboration, and let me say this, for the record. Any collaborations that the PRP will enter, we will head that collaboration. Our standard bearer will head that collaboration. And we will be forming any collaboration with institutions that shares our values and aspirations. We believe that whatever initial conversations or whatever intent, following review, we believe that those values of the other institutions did not align with ours. So we needed to review it and see what we can do. However, we think our party is open to collaborations, and it is important for us to talk to other party because the elections in Liberia let us take into consideration that we will need other stakeholders. Let's assume that, you went to a second round and you will need other people to talk to. All right. You need to smoothen the ground to talk to other, political entities. And so we will be talking to different political parties very soon so that we can have a kind of a working relationship. But we want to work with institutions that shares our values and aspirations. And uh, if we believe that those values does not align, then maybe we have to put in some pause. But we are working behind the scene. And as soon as we can make some progress on some of the things we are talking about, we inform the public on any collaboration. But we are clear that any collaborations, the PLP will lead a collaboration. We don't want to leave it open as the other guys who left it open. They don't know who will be stand up bearer. Say we know. We are very clear that our stand up bearer, that the Cassell, will lead any collaboration.
So at this time, nothing yet in the works. No
No,
collaboration.
no, nothing yet. We are talking behind the scene, but it is not official. But as soon as we can finalize something and start to talk, make some major decision, then we'll let the press know. But for now, no.
So let me just piggyback on that question. Who are you talking about? I mean, who are you talking with, and what are you talking about?
Moses, we don't want to throw any name or direct down. We are doing consultations behind the scene.
Okay.
Uh, yeah. So you see, if you want a girl and the guy said, "Oh, let me think about it," say, man, do not insinuate that she's your girlfriend already.
Okay.
So we don't want to threaten anybody, but I think it's important for us to be transparent. Looking at our platform, looking at our work across the country, we don't just want to join any coalition. We have a lot that we have done. We have a lot to bring to the table. We have 21 offices across the country, and they are all furnished and functional. So we want to be very mindful.
Okay. So let's come to the cheerleader. Madam Cheerleader, the trip to the Midwest. What message are you taking to the people in Minnesota and the people in North Dakota? What's your message?
The message, thank you for the
Yep.
question. The
Hmm.
message that we're taking to the people, the Liberian people in the Midwest, is that Liberia is for every one of us, and we all need to join hands to take care of the problems that we're going through in Liberia.
Okay.
We cannot sit here and turn our back to our country. And Dr. Kessa is the right person for Liberia. So we are asking every Liberians to come on board and come and join the PLP for a better Liberia. So that's what we want you to, because some people don't know him. We want people to come on and ask him questions, get to meet him, get to know him, get to know what he stands for, a vision for Liberia, and then we'll be able to be make a better Liberia tomorrow. So that's why we're going to the Midwest. And after the Midwest, when we come back,
Hmm.
we're going to be going to other states. But we're going to the Midwest first because of the weather. The weather will soon be changing on that side. It get very, very cold. So we want to get there and leave, and then we'll come back. We'll try to get other states to visit other states, so that we can be able to showcase our stand-up bearer.
Okay.
Mr. Gay, quickly, what is the PLP's position on the recent sanction of the three officials of the WEA government? What what
In
what?
fact, yeah, we did release a statement condemning uh, the government under sanction. They didn't do much. We think it was overdue. Uh, our president is aware about systemic corruption in the government. We needed not to wait for U.S. sanctions before uh, suspending those guys. We still did not do well. After the suspension, they have to take a month before resigning based on pressure from the international community. It's overdue. The next thing that will happen is the prosecution. Uh, if people are accused especially by the United States Treasury Department. We think our justice system need to get involved, where prosecutions need to take place. So we are waiting, but we condemned it in a stronger term. We need to clean up Liberia. We need to clean up, and if we're going to clean up, we need to start from the presidency. I, we as a political party in this, what we're taking the lead in everything. If you follow the trend of the PFP sent information, uh, we have zero tolerance to certain behavior of our partisan executives. And so if we take over the country, we're going to screen line, we're going to clean up, we're going to make sure that the justice system take a course, we're going to make sure that we have an independent process. There will be no interference into the judicial system in our country. And these are the values that Casero has, and that is why we are supporting him. He believed in the rule of law. He believed in equal justice. He believed in the promotion of justice for everybody. And so we are supporting the process, but we think that it's belated by our government, and more measures and action need to be taken. Now that they have resigned, I think we need to look at the prosecution aspect.
Okay.
Do you see the prospect for Dr. Cassell government to have a good relationship and hold accountable those other branches of government? I mean, talk about the legislature. You see what it's doing to our country. Um, they're fighting for themselves and leaving the downtrodden masses to the wild geese. So, what do you think?
Uh, you know, with the three branches of government, and that there's a separations of power. We are going to work with the three branches of government when we take over the leadership of the country. At the same time, we are going to do ours as the executive branch of government, making sure that we look at the prosecutions of people. If anybody there running our government, we make sure that we turn you over to the integrity institutions and the justice ministry to ensuring that there is proper investigation with all the interference of the presidency. If the corruption is walking from the door of the presidency, then it becomes difficult for you to prosecute. And that Akasa is going to have zero tolerance. We're not saying there will be no corruption, but if there are signals that there will be corruption, we think will be held accountable.
Okay. So now let's come back again to the chair lady. Madam Chair, you were talking about the trip to the Midwest. I know you're going to be in Minnesota. You'll be going to North Dakota. How mobilized are your supporters in these states?
Well, thank you for the question. We have a leadership in Minnesota, and we also have a leadership in Fargo.
Hmm.
We've been having series of meetings, and we have given them all the support that they need to
Yeah.
be able to mobilize. So we are looking forward to more people coming because
Yeah.
they've been doing a lot of work. So we are expecting a good amount of people to be to the both town halls.
Okay. Good. That's great.
So, what will constitute the town halls? What are some of the events and activities apart from the stand-up bearer, vision bearer, engaging the audience and interacting and taking questions and so forth? Are there other side attractions and things that you're going to do in the Midwest, concomitant with the stand-up bearers appearance and holding these town halls?
Yeah. Yes, we're going to be having a membership draft there. Um, we're going to also have some refreshment, and those are the things that we're going to be doing. Mainly the membership draft because we need more people over there. We need people to come on board because the chapter is mostly people that in Pennsylvania who only have one or two-person out, and now the people that the leadership in Minnesota and Fargo. So we're trying to get a lot of people to come on board. So we're going to be doing a membership draft, and then we're going to be giving T-shirts out, and you know, having some refreshment. We're also thinking about having a meet and greet on Friday night, so we can meet people, and then people just so that, like I said, can be able to meet people, more people, so people that won't have time to meet it on Friday, on Saturday, because some people work, they might not have time to come to the town hall. They can try to get in touch with the leadership in Minnesota so that they can see him, when he get there in the evening on Friday before, the program can start on Sunday. But we're going to be doing the membership draft we're going to be giving t-shirts out, and we're going to be having a refreshment, and then like I said, going to be interacting with people.
Apart from that, when you think about Dr. Cassell as a political uh, aspirant, presidential aspiring in the political arena in Liberia, his plan to go to Minnesota is to engage the audience, but that's just not sufficient. The potential for him to engage some of the stakeholders in the Midwest, for instance, the Liberian organization there, some of the local organizations there, the churches that bring Liberians together, uh, even the local city government, the city council. Are you guys pushing the agenda that far, or is just let's get their business as usual?
No, we have the different counties in Liberia. We have their leadership. We spoke with some of them, and some of them are going to be coming to the program also. So we've been talking to them. We're sending the invitations, and we're sending letters, and so they're going to be there.
Okay, what's it?
Yeah. So now it seems that everything is set for this weekend, right?
Yes, we are set for this weekend.
Okay. Who are some of the prominent people that you guys will be taking to the Midwest besides Dr. Cassell and you? Who are some of the prominent people in the PLP USA that will be making this trip?
We have the party chair, the vice chair, the stand-up bearer and his family. A
Mhm.
few of the members will be going.
Okay. And so this is an attempt to introduce the PLP to the Midwest, right?
Yes.
Okay. Uh, we learned that Dr. Casals should also be visiting one of the most populated Liberian churches in Minneapolis. Is that true?
Yes, that's why I said it depends on how long the program going to stay. If we're going to spend the night in Minnesota on
Okay.
Saturday night, and Sunday morning we're going to be going to the church, one of the biggest and the more populated church in Minnesota. Dr. Tapla is the pastor of the church, so we will be visiting our church if we stay in Minnesota on Sunday.
Okay. So
Moses, give
when
me a
you,
minute quick. Give me
yeah,
a minute
sure.
quick.
Yeah,
It's
go ahead. Go ahead.
8 o'clock here. We're gonna post a number now. If you're gonna call, the number is 404-272-2808, 404-272-2808. If you need to engage Dave and Madam Anderson, or just talk to us here tonight, we appreciate if you can call. We see a few people here commenting. We'd like to welcome Joseph, Emmanuel Claire, Emmanuel Jackson, and we also want to say thank you so much, Thomas Awaji, for coming in, Pharaoh Horace, and a few other people here, usually in Flumo Livingstone. A lot of time people are here, but they don't chat or chime in the conversation, so it's understandable. So the number to call at 404-272-2808 is posted right now. Make your point. Go ahead, Moses.
Yeah, look, I know we noticed that the Secretary General in Liberia seems to be struggling because he's seeing darkness. Mr. SG, your people plan to travel to the Midwest. Are you propagating this message to your locals in Liberia? And what has been the reception of the people?
Thank you, Moses. You know that uh, I'm a baby when it comes to the Liberian community across the United States.
Yeah.
Uh, yeah, and so we have to do everything possible to support Rita and her team. I've been speaking with guys in the Brooklyn area. I have good numbers of friends in the Brooklyn area. I have shared the flyers. I have good numbers of friends in North Dakota. I have shared the flyers. We'll continue to engage them via our Facebook to be a participant at the event in both Minneapolis and in North Dakota. So the network we have is huge, and we want to make sure that program is very successful in the Liberian community. So we are engaging organization as well in the two states. So Oida is going to have the support that she can get from us here. Engaging the Bassa community, the Lofa community in Minnesota, the Grand Gila community, the Sabo community in those of our states, along with their leadership. So I am inboxing them, giving them the venue. And in fact, just last night, I was on the show with the co-chair of the ONL Board of Directors in Minnesota, Zizi Goya. And we talked about that. He was concerned about the reschedule of the town hall. I told him that due to technical reasons are going to be rescheduled. Now that it has been rescheduled for this weekend, we are going to re-engage those people immediately through our social media and by phone calls to making sure that they listen to the standard bearer of the People's Liberation Party. So, and that is why we talk about the network, which is very huge between us in Liberia and the USA chapter. And you're going to see more update in the segment going forward, or to see the two organizations working together to making sure that we propagate the agenda of the People's Liberation Party. So yes, we are working along with the USA chapter to making sure that the town hall meetings across the states, is very successful.
Are the people in Liberia receptive or supportive of what uh, PLP USA is doing?
Liberia is one of the strongest supporter of the PFP USA. I mean, it is a single institution on a one platform, one vision. We're not doing anything here that is contrary. No. In fact, you're going to see more of the relationship, where engagement. In fact, in the future, you're going to see people living from Liberia to attend events in the United States. It's very, very much important so that people will understand where we are. Even look, Moses, let me just tell you this stuff here before and I will conclude the show. One of the best party that anybody can ever be a part of is the People's Liberation Party. It's a home-based political party. And so, we work together. You're not going to hear or see, or, say, even if we have issues, you're not going to see it or hear it in the media because
Okay.
we, discuss our internal issue within. And, going to the public to discuss a disagreement with your colleagues, I think that nonsense.
Okay.
you know, but we are building a stronger collaboration, with all of ourselves, especially the USA as a first organ of the PLP in the diaspora.
So let me ask you this question: if you were to do a comparative analysis of all the candidates for the 2023 presidential election, including George Weah, if you were to win support for Dr. Cassell, what makes him different from all these people, and why you think he should be president of Liberia?
Moses, I have worked with several presidential candidates. You know that uh, years ago when I started my political career back in 1996.
Hmm.
And so I have worked with several presidential candidates, and there are attributes, there are characteristics that we look for in the candidates. I believe that Cassell is beyond most of the candidates who are just seeking for public office for themselves. He's not just coming to the table for a job. If that was a job, then the Cassell got more than jobs because he's an employer, he's an entrepreneur. But in order for us to change this country, you need a character like that Cancelo who is very selfless, a person who don't believe in himself, a person who believes in the Liberian people, a person who believes in developing the nation, a person who believes that the young people deserve to have employment. And that is why in Liberia he has employment activities going on. Uh, Hundreds of young people that employ. He has a security firm, he has an agriculture firm, people are gainfully employed. So you need somebody that will have some independence in the folks in Liberia who are struggling. The other guys, what's the experience do they bring to the table? What are they doing in Liberia? We need somebody who is practical. in transforming this nation. I think that Akasa has a characteristics in transforming this nation. He believes in the young people. He want to empower them. And so if you look at all of the candidates, I think that Akasa has, the best opportunity. He's the best among all of the candidates, among all the candidates that will be coming forth, including our president. Uh, Remember that Akasa is also a celebrity. He's an athlete. And there's one thing that people don't know. He's an athlete. He's a professional athlete. So he bring that celebrity, or background to the table to attract young people, when it comes to sports. And so he brings a lot to the table, and that is why some of us are supporting him to making sure that we expand on what he has initiated already across the globe. And we'll be supporting him. We are waiting for him. The Liberian people are excited to see him. That like I said, we are waiting on you, and very soon we know you will be in Liberia.
So, Madam Chair, do you agree with what the SG just said about Dr. Cassell?
I agree with him 100%. The Kasa has a lot uh, that other political parties don't have. So that's why we are here to support him, give him all the support that we can give him so he can be the next president of the Republic of Liberia come 2023.
Go ahead, Volcano.
Yeah, Mr. Gay, I think we've covered a lot of the um, PLP, but let's come to the condition in Liberia. You're currently been in Liberia at least for a little bit now. I think I ran into you a few times on one or two of my visits. Uh, are there things changing or regressing? Are we seeing a Liberia that making progress or a Liberia that is regressing? And I'm using the word regress in the term of everything because we've come close as a community now, and social media is the conduit through which we have come closer, more closer than ever before. Anything that is happening in Liberia, we already know before Daniel Gay you call us to tell us. So tell us from your lens and as the Secretary General and the PLP, are things making progress or are we regressing?
I think the nation is regressing terribly from different perspective. Not just be the Secretary General of the People's Liberation Party, but coming to the platform with experience. And I have been practical since I've been here looking at things from different perspectives. Don't look at the stable food of our country. Currently, people buying a bag of rice for $13. If you look at the tariff on rice, it's huge. It need to be
But why you
reduced.
keep saying a bag of rice when I only 25 pounds? I know a bag of rice to be one
The
hundred pounds.
25,
Yeah,
the 20, the 20,
my
the
brain
20,
stand up,
Oh,
my man.
Jeb, you gotta put it
but
in
the
bag.
breast stand.
My
Yeah.
man,
So, but
the
the
thing
breast
used to
stand,
be
but the
100 pound
25,
bag.
the 25
Yeah.
kg, all right, is so beyond $13, and the tariff on these goods is very high, and that is why a few months ago we called the government to reduce the tariff on these goods, on this staple food for the nation. We also looking at, you know, the issues of Zogo and the unemployment rate that have engulfed Liberia. Why investors are not coming into Liberia because of lack of security. Nobody want to bring their money into Liberia and they get killed overnight. There is huge of fear of security in Liberia. Um, Investors are not coming. They're not going to come right now because of the security concern. The citizenry, mostly if you were to be in Monrovia right now as we speak, people start trooping into their respective homes between 6:30 7 o'clock. But after 8 o'clock, 9 o'clock, you don't want to be all there before something happened to you. I mean,
Wow,
I've been home since. I've been home since 7 o'clock this evening.
that's sad.
Um, yeah, it's very sad. There are horrible things happening. People getting missing from motorbikes. I just read a story. There's a gentleman who coming from, Ban, in Nema County, going on a motorbike. In fact, he's missing. So many terrible things are happening, and nobody, is protecting the innocent. The unemployment rate in the country is at an alarming rate because no investor is coming. How many person will make us to employed? How many person will lack employed? These are questions. And in order for us to have our people employed in Liberia, it means that we need a stable environment. And this is what we are advocating, that under the Cassell government, we're going to employ our citizens. We're going to make sure that we empower them by training them, into uh, different careers. Especially short-term vocational education is going to be key because it will train people, by developing fast or short-term with fast-track program. We think that they can get access to the job market, and so we'll be doing a lot. The country get on the Ralphie Highway. The road right now is at a standstill because
Mhm.
contractors are not being paid. And the
Oh,
road
really?
is terrible. Oh yeah, the road is terrible. The road is terrible. You cannot drive on the Ralphie Highway at night as we speak. I mean, you have to be very careful. So there are so many challenges. Now these
Oh,
roads have been politicized. Contractors are abandoning them, even from EWA Junction to get into Red Light. That little road, less than 4 5 miles, is yet to be completed.
hmm.
So every day there's a decline. Every day there's a decline. Now, the oppositions in Liberia, what we need to do is how can we work together to making sure that we give this president a one term? Is that possible? Yes. Can we work together? Yes. But we
And what
need
are
to
you
go.
people doing to work together?
That's the thing.
Moses, we are engaging. At the same time, one thing that we have getting to understand is that
And
most
Daniel,
of the
you're engaging, but everybody wants to be president. Yeah, engagement.
well,
You just said, hold on. You just said PLP got to take the lead. Dr. Kasa got to sit in the
yeah,
driver's seat.
yeah.
Waka want to sit in. I'm coming now. Waka want to sit in the driver's seat. ANC Cummings want to sit in the driver's seat. Then Tiago Gonglo passing around with broom, he want to sit in the driver's seat. So everybody wants the driver's seat. So these
It-
collaborations you're forming or intending to form, if you come to the table saying that you got to be at the head of the table, then of course we're not gonna go anywhere. People need
we
to
need
compromise. People need to negotiate in the interest of the Liberian people. If you and I are intending to do the same business, then let's just do the business in the interest of the Liberian people rather than I gotta be at the helm of leadership or at the head of the table. So that's the conundrum our political arena is in right now, particularly regarding the opposition. I just wanted to sharpen the tool a little bit so you understand it from that perspective because everyone has an ego. Cummings is the political giant now from the corporate world. Waka is the political giant from the local Liberianization world. Dr. Kasser is also from the corporate or business side. And you have Tiawon Gonglo from the legal side. And everybody coming to the table with their own cause. Coming, brother.
let me just say this. You just brought up from the corporate side, and one thing I can foresee is that eventually uh, we are all going to go into one big room to discuss the issue.
This
Uh,
was no.
Yeah, yeah. His internet is
and
very
Yeah,
if I
internet
want to
going
say the
bad.
one big room to talk, we need to start talking to each other.
Yeah.
The
Oh, no, sorry,
opposition
Mr.
let's
SJ,
listen,
that
they
let's
are not
listen.
network
talking to
went
each
Hold
other
on.
bad.
here. Find
Let's
a
listen.
few places
It's going bad. His
I've been
internet
around
going
for
bad.
some time. Yeah, I think the internet, yeah. So I think we're going
Yeah.
about 16 minutes into. Yeah, so what is going to happen here is that we need to pull up.
Oh my God. Yeah. His signal.
So
Yeah.
Moses, so the
Yeah.
point I was making here, if everybody's coming to the table to be at the head of the table, then there's no need for collaboration because
Of course.
everyone is set in the mind. So I think
Mm.
the bottom line here is go on your own. When we go to the runoff,
Second
yeah,
round.
yeah. When we go to the second round, then we can decide. Because at that point, I will be the bigger dog to take the fattest bone.
Yeah.
Otherwise, then we have to take the thing again.
Yeah. Do you
Yeah.
agree, Orito?
Well, Yes, I think we need to look at this thing on a different level. You cannot liberal politics is in a way is such a thing that you have to think. Couple of things going to happen if we don't have collaboration.
Mhm.
The thing that I one of the things that I worry about and that I think going to happen if we don't have collaborations is cheating. There will be a lot of cheating. But if we have a collaboration and if it's two, three parties, if they can come to one understanding and the people that supporting those parties can contribute to the party, every polling station will have a generator and have poll washers. And there will be no way for them to say they're taking the ballot boxes from this end to go and carry to another end to count because fuel will be provided and generator will be there and then the everybody will have their phone to be able to record. So to be able to have the kind of money to do that, it has to be by collaborating. One person will not be able to do it because
Okay.
every polling station needs to have generator and poll watchers.
I want to go back to Daniel so
Need
he
to
can
have
continue in his
generator.
trend.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah, let's go back to Daniel now that we got him back. So Daniel, yes, the situation everybody wants to be at the head of the table, and so what do you think? How can we unseat Mr. Weah and make him a 110 president when everyone wants to be at the head of the table?
Well, I think eventually what is going to happen is that people are going to have a kind of a compromise. I think, but for now, I think it's important that we be clear uh, with our colleagues of what we want. Even if we would decide to say, hey, listen, let's put up a single candidate. As for now, while we are talking or yet to talk, let's be clear what we want. And that possibility exists for people to come together is all on the basis of trust. Do I trust Shelton? Do I trust Moses to do political business with him? We don't want to experience what happened in the coalition to happen. That's where you had three parties. And you only have a single party to run the government. Is that what we want in a coalition? Absolutely not. So we want to build a relationship. We want to trust people that we can work with. Then the possibility of collaboration is possible. This is what we want to do. Not that we are saying no to collaboration. We are only saying, as PLP, we want to work with institutions that shares our values. And so
But
we'll
you
be
want to be at the top of the table. You want to
we
be
need we need to think of that. We need to be clear. Yes, we want to be to the table, but until we work out all of this arrangement to say, listen, we think it's necessary to have a collaboration, and who are the party are we talking to? Then the collaboration is going to decide. Then the leaders, the standard bearers, they will sit by themselves to decide. Say, gentlemen, listen, we think it is all about our contract. What can we do? So we're not going to make a decision. But for now, what we can say is if there'll be any collaboration, the PLP will head a collaboration. That's what we are saying. So the PLP is not dismissing the fact that we're not going to sit down with other people. So if I stand up, better sit down together, gentlemen, listen to me. It's all about our country. You have 4 or 5 top positions in the government: the presidency, the vice presidency, the speaker, the president pro tem, and you need the rest of it. So these positions are many. But as for now, while we are yet to begin in the process of collaboration, we are clear that if any collaboration is to involve the PLP, we will want to head it. And we think that
fair
we still
enough.
have a little bit of a window time, to talk about this issue, which are very key to our democracy. But we want to work with people that we trust.
Fair enough.
So, are you implying that in the interest of Liberia, the PLP is willing to compromise and accommodate other political
Look,
parties?
Moses, Dr. Cassell is not anything because of any selfish gain. Dr. Cassell loved the Liberian people. Dr. Cassell
Yeah.
loved Liberia. Uh, what brought him to Liberia is when he came and saw the destitution of his people. He became very passionate about their plight. So he's not running because he's looking for a job. I think he's a human being. I think he's a man who said, "Look, listen to me. If this kind of do for our country, this is what I can do as my share. But I want to work with people that I can trust."
Okay.
We have cronies around who form political party that has nothing to offer. There's the guy that has spent over 4 point something million dollars. And he just wake up once a month and say, "Look, what I'm going to father won't do. What do you bring to the table?" There is our argument. We have lot to bring to the table. And if we will negotiate, then let us negotiate from, a strength base. What do you bring to the table that if we want to collaborate, let's look at the strength. We are talking about 350,000 persons that have registered under the PLP. And you find out somebody say, "Listen to me, oh yeah, I want to head a coalition." What do you bring to the table? That is our argument. And that's the argument we'll continue to push.
Great, great. So we lost Moses momentarily. So we did cover the issues on the grounds, and you did stated that things are not as expected, and there's a fast pace of retrogression in the country. But let's look at the cost of living overall, Daniel. You've been in Liberia for a while now. We see that the government has, uh, I believe, printed some new monies and coins. How is the reception there in terms of the basic incentives for people? Talked about the rice, talked about electricity. Right now, it's not as you know what do you call frequent. Uh, Everything else, cost of living, being in Liberia.
Moses, normally I don't go into the market. One day I went to the market and I saw Bonin and I saw, said, "Man, this woman said that you're not from here." I said, "No, I'm from here. I'm from Riga." He said, "No, no. The way you just buying, you're not asking, say, please take something from there." But I saw like two, three Bonins, selling for $200.
Hmm.
Okay, yes,
three
okay.
three pot of pepper
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Three
for
pot of
10.
pepper, anything for about $10, even for $50. In fact, it has increased.
Wow.
Um, one lemon, okay, in Monrovia is $20. One lemon, okay, it's $20. In fact, I was fussing with the woman. I said, "Oh, you're not paying taxes for the thing. Why is it so hard? And once they will pay transportation,
You gotta pay somebody to climb the tree to pick it
yeah,
and
to
then
pick
pack
it,
it.
but Shelton, there's a serious issue. You were here recently. The people that are suffering, you know, um, I met a woman and she have three children. I mean, a true story. And they haven't eaten for over 2 days.
Hmm.
And this woman met me. She said, "My son, we got nothing to eat." And I took a $1,500 LD and I gave it to her. And I said, "Look, Dr. Kasa said I'm getting money." She said, "The man I carry the buses?" I said, "Yeah. The man said I'm getting money here." He said, "Hey, God, thank you." But we have hundreds of those people across Liberia that can't afford easily.
Talking thousands.
This is a devastating situation. The economy is terrible. It's terrible. People can't find food. People can't find anything to do. The job is not even available. So there is a catastrophe in our country.
The PLP going to make that change.
We are going to endeavor to make the change to redeem and liberating this nation from the hands of the cartels.
All right, Rita, let's recap quickly because we got 4 minutes. The program ends at 8:30. Tell us again quickly before we wrap up your planned activity for the weekend.
Well, the POP USA with the stand up bearer, Dr. Daniel Ike said,
Do you go to your rice mall because the people got to see you? Thank
will
you.
be in Minnesota in the Brooklyn Park area at the OLM office. The address is 70178 Avenue North, Brooklyn Park, Minnesota. 55445. We're going to be at the OLM office at 5 o'clock on Saturday for the town hall meeting. We're inviting everybody to come, librarian all over the place. come and hear from your Liberian brother, the man who put Liberia first, one of those that put Liberia first in everything that he's doing. So come and hear from him and get him the support that will join hands and be able to liberate the Republic of Liberia. Liberia is all that we have. And then from there, we'll be going to Fargo. We'll be in Fargo on Sunday at 4 p.m. At the address is 705 East Main Street, Fargo City, North Dakota. We're asking people to come on, come and ask the say all the questions, come and see him, come and touch him, come and feel him. All the negative news out there, don't listen to it. Come and experience him for yourself so you can make up your mind. We know some people here are not going to go to Liberia for the elections, but they have family members there that they can talk to and they can tell them who he is and what he stands for to make Liberia better come 2023. Liberia right now is in a terrible situation. The Liberians are crying. We need help. Nobody can do it for us besides ourselves. So please, Liberians, your join hands with PLP. Let me 2023 a beautiful year and a beautiful and a successful elections.
Thank you. Thank you. Mr. Gayu, your parting word. Mr. Gayu, looks like he's frozen again. All right, Rita, we'd like to thank you so much for joining us here tonight. Great conversation. We hope for the best for the PLP and its stand-up bearer and you, the members of the political party. We just had the Secretary General seem to be frozen. The same problems we face with in Liberia. The country is always on pause. Mr. Gayu, are you back now? I see you moving about. Are you good?
I didn't hear you, Shadow.
Okay, could you just give us your parting words because we're about to close the show?
Well, first, let me commend our listening audience across the globe for taking upon their time this evening to listen to us and sharing uh, some of our visions and what are some of the things that's afforded in Liberia here. And also to the management and staff of the issues room for the opportunity in utilizing this platform. We will be available all at the time to share issues within the PLP, developments that unfolded in Liberia, and our preparedness to take over the governance of this country. And this is what our motto clearly states that the time is now and we are ready. Uh, that the Cassell will soon storm Liberia. And we are going to inform the Liberian people, our friends across the world, our supporters, on specifically when he comes to Liberia. And we want everybody to be a part of that welcoming ceremony. And so we're going to plan it effectively because we want for the Rabat International Airport um, to be closed on that day. That's going to be a Cassell's date when he returns to Liberia. And we are working 24 hours behind the scenes across the country to making sure that our leaders returned. It's time that we do real business and not to do business as usual. We want to make sure that we minimize corruptions and people should be held accountable on their behavior in Liberia. And so the PLP, we are calling on the Liberian people to be smart enough this time that the People Liberation Party is here to liberate the Liberian people. And this is why that the Cassell brought these buses. This is why that the Cassell is building farm to market road across the country with our yellow machines. And that is what we have, programs and services that are impacting Liberian people, providing business loan to marketeers across Liberia, poor market women that can afford. We have a zero interest loan that we give to them, and they are helping themselves. We are empowering them. These are the principles of Dr. Cassell. And so we want to say thanks to our partisans and those that have come here to join the people join us. There's a new movement, there's a new era, there's a new beginning. This wave of the visit of Dr. Cassell, uh, who is new on the platform. But let's look at what this man is doing. Then he's been new. We think that he represents a new generation. We think that Cassell is ready to shape the paradigm of the ballot politics in our nation. So we want to say thank you for the opportunity and good night.
Thank
Good
you.
night,
Thank you
Dr.
to you both. Thank you, Ms. Anderson. Thank you, Mr. Gayu, for being here in the issues room. I'll take leave of you as I close this program tonight. We want to thank you for being here with us for our 90th edition. We did feature the People's Liberation Party, the PLP. Conversation centers around the upcoming town hall that its vision and standard bearer will be holding in the Midwest, precisely the state of Minnesota, in the Brooklyn Park area, and North Dakota in Fargo. So it's this weekend. We also featured Mr. Daniel Gayu, who is the Secretary General of the People's Liberation Party in Liberia. We were expected to have the chairman, but based on some other personal issues, he couldn't make it in tonight. But I thought it was great conversation. He covered grounds. He talked about the party's presence on the grounds and its relationship with the U.S. chapter and how vibrant the party is, irrespective of the legal issues faced by its standard bearer. So they're very hopeful that Dr. Cassell will be going back to Liberia in the not so far future. Again, we say thank you. We hopefully will be here on Friday. Potentially, we're looking at probably doing some cleaning up in the studios to make sure that some technical things are taken care of. If we're going to broadcast, we'll have a promo ready. If not, we'll let the world know that we will not be able to broadcast because we want to do some technical stuff. But in the meantime, we say thank you to all of you who showed up here tonight. Thomas, Awaji, our good friend and brother, one of the people behind the scene, Flo Livingstone, and Joseph Emmanuel Clare, Emmanuel Jackson. We say thank you so much for joining us there, Horace. Make the Issues Room a platform that you can stop by. It's not about the numbers. It's not about all of these loud numbers. It's about the content. It's about the character. It's about what we talk about and how profoundly discussed these issues are, because they're fundamental issues that our country is faced with. And what we can do is to continue to talk. Someone say, "Oh, you guys just talk. You ain't got no solution." But wait a minute. Stop there. Let me leave this as your thought tonight. I want you to process this. The pastor or the religious man who is preaching every day about our Lord and Savior, about God and His purpose and plan for our lives, he preaches to sinners. That's all he does. He continues to preach to sinners. And the more he preaches to sinners, few may get converted, some will not get converted. So when we come here, the only thing we can do is to unearth these issues and talk about them. We sometimes provide solutions, but who's listening? Who's listening? When a man is set in his ways, when a man is prone to something, particularly the sweet in corruption, no matter how you talk, you're not going to change that guy. It is the accountability factor that will make the difference. When someone in authority or when systems in place that hold those people accountable. So, for instance, the Nathaniel McGill, they built Tuawe and the Serena Seaforth. How many times we didn't talk? How long did the Liberian people say these people are corrupt? How long are we not talking about Samuel Tuawe? How long are we not talking about the others in the government who are responsible for what is happening? Right? Liberian people talk. Oppositions talk. People on social media platforms talk. We talk, we talk, we talk. How long? But someone listened. The American Treasury Department listened and they took an action. So, yes, we have to continue to unearth these issues. We have to continue to talk about these issues because someone can hear us one day. So, we cannot get tired until Liberia is in a place where you can feel that you love to be a Liberian, that you represent to be a Liberian, where you can go to your country and have electricity switching your light on, where you open your faucet, water comes. And don't tell me that Liberia doesn't have the resources, that endow wealth to change its countries, or rather to change its systems in the country. Don't tell me Liberia does not have the capacity to deliver itself, to develop itself, to provide the best healthcare, to provide the best education. We're just what? A country of 5 million people. And we have all these resources, but we keep crediting, we keep borrowing. And the borrowed finances that we borrow, we cannot even account for half of them. And they don't even go to the purpose for which they've been borrowed. And that's why some of our government officials are building big houses and amassing personal wealth because they know that days are numbered. They know the days are numbered. And because the days are numbered, they want to get all that they can. They don't care about you, the Liberian people. Imagine me, Volcano Shelton. What would have happened if I didn't get some kind of education, push myself to get out of Liberia and be here to develop myself? I would have been in Liberia probably at risk. I won't be a youth now. I'll be an at risk adult. You understand me? So yes. So we can do everything for our country because we have the resources. But it takes the best leaders. It takes the right people. And so we're going to keep trying. We're going to keep talking. We're going to keep testing the waters. It took a while for Ghana to get a Jerry Rawlings. It took a while. It took a while for Rwanda to get a Paul Kagame, irrespective of how he came to power. So we got to keep pushing. We got to keep trying until we find the right leader. There is a leader for Liberia who will really not be concerned about wealth. There is a group of what I would consider professionals who would not be concerned about wealth. Instead, they will be concerned about building a society where they can thrive, where they can walk the streets, where they can hold their heads up high. We will get to that point. It's going to take some time. It's going to take a lot of trial. It's going to take a lot of testing. But I'm optimistic that at some point, even though in my blurred vision of the situation in our country, I am guaranteed by the God that I serve and the Christ that is risen and the belief I've had in my Creator that Liberia will rise again. It may not be in my generation, it may not be in my lifetime, but I'm confident that at some point our country will change before the end of this world. And those people who continue to amass wealth, those people who continue to think that they are the big dogs, there is a day and a time for everything. Good night.